Hello, everyone. Today it's my pleasure to speak to Dave Armstrong. He's one of our EVV Con webinar presenters, and his topic is Don't Go It Alone. Now let's find out a little bit more about this fantastic man. Just to give you some background, he's a published author, a motivational speaker, a life coach, and an at-risk youth expert. Has 24 years of US Air Force and then was a veteran, retired in this young age, and now lives in the beautiful country Greece. Happily ever on. But he wanted to do more for the world. That's why he came back from retirement. Now I will give the stage to Dave. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself, about your mentors and your story.
We don't want to know more about me. As you said, Sensei Dave Armstrong, I'm a Toastmaster, and I'm actually competing for this year for the World Championship of Public Speaking. So wow. Everyone wish me luck on the adventure. I've won two, and the next one is in 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure I'll win. And I'm really passionate. I'm just really passionate about giving and sharing knowledge. I'm really passionate about helping people improve what they're doing to really get in front of the people that they deserve to get in front of, to impact the people who need their message, right? Whatever that message is. It could be, you know, you could be intrinsically motivated to sell laptops, okay? And we don't think like a laptop is a life-changing thing, but it can be, right? It certainly can be. And so if you're like a laptop expert and you go, you know what? I want to help people buy the right laptop the first time for their needs. You're saving people money in the long run. You're helping people like have efficient and working machines that they absolutely need. And you're doing a service for someone. And some people just go, well, it's just a laptop. Well, that's not true. That's not true, right? So that's what I get to wake up and spend my days doing, is thinking about how I can help someone else's life a little bit, because I've built a pretty good life here in Greece at a pretty relatively young age. At 40, I just had a birthday. I'm 48 now.
Congratulations.
I know. Thank you. I know you were thinking I was 25 or so, but no, I'm not. I'm 48. Sure.
I told you before the interview, you're such a young man. How can you be retired?
I'm lucky. So yeah, so that's a little bit about what I do now. And then, you know, I grew up in California in foster care and juvenile detention centers and group homes without parents. And I was a really bad kid. My first arrest was when I was 11 years old for armed robbery, actually. Wow. Yeah, 11 years old. And so the other thing that I do a lot is I spend time helping caring adults, people that are working with kids that are in foster homes, group homes, juvenile detention centers. And then I go speak at schools and you know, different organizations that are involved in that world. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
That's a fantastic work you're doing, and you're changing a lot of lives and you're influencing a lot of lives. There were two mentors you had. Can you tell us a little bit about them, how you found them, or did they find you?
Oh, they found me. So yeah, my first mentor was Ron Barnick, and he was a CASA, court-appointed special advocate. And so in the States, most of the states have an organization called CASA. And it's almost like a volunteer big brother or big sister that goes between the kid and the social worker and the judge, so the system, and he or she will report back and say, hey, he's doing great. Hey, he probably needs to be moved, or she probably needs a different psychologist or psychiatrist. So someone in your corner. And Ron Barnick was my CASA, and he was a pilot in the Air Force. And he sparked my interest in joining the Air Force.
Oh,
And
wow.
that, yeah, and that's, you know, I served 24 years and got to see the world.
Wow.
And it was because of one person who saw the value in me and was able to help change my destiny, right? Change my
Mhm.
destiny. And then the second was Sensei Otto Johnson, who was a martial artist. He owned a martial arts school, and he was also a therapist at one of the boys' homes that I was at.
Mhm.
And Sensei Otto sparked my interest in martial arts and gave me discipline. And he was actually a surrogate father, that father figure that I needed in my life so desperately. And without Sensei Otto, I wouldn't have opened up martial arts schools. I wouldn't have had martial arts mentoring programs for at-risk youth. I wouldn't have been doing so many things for kids. Even to this day, I still get messages on Facebook where, you know, this kid was 4 or 5 years old when he first started with me, and now he's 18 and about to
Wow.
go out to college. And yeah, and so it's really cool. I've been able to give a lot. I have a big heart, and I just love to see people better. I really do, in any way, in any way.
Wonderful what you're doing there.
Thank
And
you.
you're now still having as a martial arts school, or did you
Nope,
now
nope.
change completely?
Yeah, I sold the schools. I got out the Air Force. I resigned from the board of directors. I was the vice president for the board of directors for a nonprofit, and moved to Greece. And I thought I was just going to kind of chill, hang back, and retire. And after about 2 years of that, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand not giving. I couldn't stand,
Mhm.
you know, just
You have
just
such a big heart.
I think so. I just love to, you know, I'm fortunate, you know, that most kids that are thrown into the system. So you know, you had no choice, no agency over where you were born, or who your parents were, or what your skin complexion is, or what your ethnicity or nationality is. You had no choice over that. And so these kids are just born into this environment, right? And they, it wasn't by their choice. And unfortunately, the statistics say that most of them, 95% of them, are not going to be okay. And
Mhm.
I want to change that statistic. I want to be part of the solution for these young people that had no choice of, you know, if their parents were on drugs and they were taken away, or if they were born in a gang infested area and they were subject to that and joined a gang and started doing stuff. Like, that's not their choice, you know, that's not their choice. And so hopefully through my mentorship and through my speaking, they realize that they have a choice for their future. And these caring adults that are helping them realize that they can do a little more, or a little different, or a little better.
Mhm. It's a wonderful work you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, if we were looking for a mentor, I mean, you were lucky to come across them. What would you advise us? What should we look for? Or
You know what? Matilda, I'll tell you the truth. Most people, especially adults, the older you get, the more afraid, or the more prideful or egotistical you are, to realize that you need a mentor, and to just ask. You know, just go, hey, you know what, I like you, can we hang out? You know, can we just freaking, can I buy you a coffee? Can I, you know, pay you $100 a month to just show me how to speak better, or to you know, program better, or to play the violin, or whatever? You know, it's so I you know, it's incumbent of us, the person that wants to better some aspect of their lives, to seek someone to be in their corner in that knowledge, right? But you can't I can't mentor someone if they don't ask, you know, as you know, if they don't say, hey, this is an area that I think you can help me in, do you mind? And that could be a you know, a service, that could be a coaching, that, you know, I have a group right now that a friend of mine and I just started for people that are pursuing public speaking, right?
Mhm.
And it's low cost, and I just wanted something for people to get into as a group, to practice their speeches and to get unafraid, right? Because we weren't born afraid to speak, right? This is programmed, and to get their voice out and how to define that and mold and shape that, right? But if you don't say, hey, this is an area I'd like to improve, and go seek it, then, well, it'll always be an area that needs improvement or that's stagnant, right?
Mm-hmm. So have you already done your speech craft? Because it's actually what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Now, you told me before you have so many tabs open because you're organizing 2 events. What are they?
Oh, I'm going to come on and promote other people's events. I'll tell you. So one is a speech for a nonprofit organization, and the other is a lecture for a drug and alcohol center. And the one for the drug and alcohol center is actually tomorrow, and I'm super excited about it. It's funny.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny when they reached out to me. Said, do you have the right Dave? Because I'm not a PhD. Everybody that does these lectures for them are social workers or psychologists or psychiatrists. And I said, nah, I'm not in that world. And they're like, oh no, you're all about motivation. So we're going to talk tomorrow about motivation and how to get their clients or even themselves a little better motivated. We're going to talk about dopamine. We're going to talk about serotonin. So it's kind of a high level lecture about neurology and how you can reframe and reshape and create better drive for your goals. And then we're going to talk about goal setting. So it's really cool, really cool.
It sounds cool. I would love to take part there.
I'll send you the link. It's free. They pay people to do it, and it's free. So it's free for, yeah. I'll send you the link. Seriously.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward when you're doing your webinar. When will it be at EVV Con?
Yeah. So I'm the second person, I think, that's coming up. At least that's the lineup right now. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's the 28th, right?
24th.
24th. Yes, that's what I said, the 24th.
No, 23rd, 24th of April. So It depends where you are.
I promise it's on my calendar correctly. So
yeah.
And I'm already.
We'll send you a reminder before.
Yeah, I know, right? I've already prepared the lecture for that, and I'm excited about it. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I remember when I did my first mentoring and parenting teen summit. So I host a quarterly mentoring and parenting teen summit, and I invite speakers on. And my first one was so difficult to do. Okay, there's a learning curve to everything, but should I use Zoom? Should I use another platform? StreamYard. Should I? How many speakers should I bring on? How do I engage with my audience and still bring the speakers here and there and type in the chat? And I was trying to do so many things. And, even if you're passionate about it, you really like it, and you're knowledgeable or fairly knowledgeable, there's so much to learn, right? And that's what during EVVCon I'm going to bring to the table. I want to just help people set up their first conference or their first lecture or their first meetings, right? Their first group sessions, and what that looks like, and how to engage with the audience, and how to find the right people to surround yourself with during your conference or during your meetup to say, hey, can you handle this aspect of it or that aspect of it? And then towards the end, I'm going to talk about having a why. And I'm all about motivation. And look, the best conference, the best meeting, the best lecture is always going to be intrinsically motivated, right? Something that is your why. So how do you figure that out? Like, how do you figure out, you say, okay, I want to do something, but how, what do I do? So we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end, and then we'll have a breakout session to where I can answer questions individually to anyone that has questions. So it's gonna be awesome. The whole event's gonna be awesome. My lecture is going to be informative and awesome, just like every other speaker that is going to. I mean, there's 11 other speakers, and they're all going to bring it for you 100%.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm looking forward to your session, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for your competition that is coming up.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time.
My
Looking forward
absolute
to see you.
pleasure. My
Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure. It's nice talking to you. Nice talking to everybody out there. And I can't wait to see you on the 23rd, 24th. EVV Con, you got to be there. You got to watch not just my session, but you got to just watch the whole thing. The whole thing. Make sure you go to the breakout sessions. Make sure you ask questions. It's free. My gosh, like there's nothing better than free knowledge. So a bunch of people, 12 of us coming on and sharing our experiences and our knowledge with you. That's just wonderful.
Thank you. And you're so much motivating us to come and full of energy. You're drawing us in. We want to see you.
I hope so. I hope so. It was nice chatting, Mathilde. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Ciao.